Hello, I'm Luis Navarro, Product Manager for RAD Studio, and I'm going to present what's new in the IDE for RAD Studio 10 Seattle. One of the key improvements accomplished in RAD Studio 10 Seattle is that the IDE and integrating compilers can use twice the available memory than previous versions. This means that RAD Studio now handles up to 4 GB of memory. But it's not only about having more memory. There's a lot of refactorings and improvements all over the product, like the optimized unit caching system for multiple projects in a project group. Another nice feature is the source code file auto-recovery. In case of crash, even a system crash, source code files can be auto-recovered. Let's see how autosave works in the IDE. The first thing I'm going to do is to change the minutes for the autosave in Tools Options. There's a new pane for auto-recover. I'm going to set just 1 minute for the autosave, not having to wait too much. So I'm opening this demo. Now I'm going to expand a bit the form and also the memo. Move around this, and in the code I'm going to add something just to make some changes. Okay, to recover test. Correct. And nothing is saved, so let's wait for a minute. I'm going to trim the video here, not to have you 1 minute waiting. Okay, and now Task Manager, and I'm going to kill the process for the RAD Studio to simulate a crash in the system. Okay, now RAD Studio is not running. Let's start it over again. And the first window you will see is the file recovery window, where it is listed the unsaved work. And double clicking in it, we will recover the unsaved work. Let's see, here it is, the text added, and also the form that I made the changes. In this slide, I'm going to talk about a few features focused on enhance the IDE experience and improve the productivity when working with the designer. The first of them is the possibility to hide non-visual components. This nice feature makes life way easier when dealing with forms that have lots of non-visual components. Pressing this Hide Show Non-Visual Components button on the View toolbar will allow developers to work in the design of the form in a better way. Ctrl-H is the shortcut for this operation. Let's see also that the Structure pane now shows the corresponding icons for the components on the form to help identifying those components. And in the Object Inspector, there are a couple of improvements. The first of them is that now it's possible to filter its contents, for example, to search for a property. Now I'm searching for the left property to quickly change its value. And from the Object Inspector properties, now it's possible to hide the filter box, to show the description panel, etc. This is a great overview of the productivity enhancements in this release. The Code Navigation toolbar for easy access to classes and methods. Clipboard history for access to previously copied content. The project statistics to get a clear picture of team productivity. the multi-page functionality, a tool for modifying and trimming the text copied in the clipboard, and, of course, the improvements on the structure pane and in the object inspector that we just seen. And now I'm going to show them in the IDE. Let's start from the menu View with Project Statistics. That reports the time you spend in each part of RAD Studio, giving you information about the time you spend editing code, designing, compiling, and others. Clipboard History tool. This window provides a history of the elements you copied in the clipboard. From this window, you can select an old copied item to be the one in the clipboard, or paste it directly into the editor. And now I'm gonna use the navigation toolbar to go to the sample procedure and show you the multi-page tool. I have an SQL sentence copied from my SQL editor, and I want to add it to my query component in real time. This tool is going to save me a lot of time by repeating the same modification, adding code to all the lines on the clipboard. And now I'm going to format the code a bit. Smart keys. You have selected some text. You can surround it by parentheses by clicking the left parenthesis. And also, by pressing the Home key, you can go to the beginning of the line. Press it again, and you will go to the beginning of the text. The structural highlighting keeps blocks of code grouped together, like you can see in this sample procedure. And the flow control highlighting highlights the use of procedures that interrupt the linear flow execution in your code. The navigation toolbar helps us navigating through the code and directly go to all the types in the current unit, and also to go to any of the procedures and functions in the unit. There are lots of improvements done for multi-monitor support in the IDE, and this picture is a clear example. This is a real workplace with no Photoshop. This is a real developer taking profit of the improvements made for multi-monitor environments. Now I'm going to do a quick demo of a multi-monitor configuration. So I have one monitor, the main monitor on the left, and a secondary monitor on the right. The first thing I'm going to do is move the multi-device preview. I'm going to separate it from the project manager group to the secondary monitor. I can place it wherever I want, and the project manager is also going to be moved to the secondary monitor, so I have more space to work in the main monitor. Now I'm going to place the object inspector side by side with the structure pane, so I have all my properties and methods and events with easy access for me. Now I'm going to maximize this window so I can use the whole monitor. Now I'm going to place the project manager with the multi-device preview. I'm going to view also the messages. I like to have it here, so I can have more space in the editor. I can have more windows, and step by step setting up my development environment with the clipboard history tool. Going to place it here. So it's a nice layout. I'm going to save it with the name multi-monitor. Okay. So I can easily switch from the default layout to the new multi-monitor layout. No issues, very easy. And there are more IDE enhancements. To mention a few, the Object Pascal function synchronization, a feature to synchronize the interface and implementation copies of your Delphi method prototypes. For example, for this procedure, we can see in the interface section and the implementation, if we do any change, for example, adding a new parameter, then we can synchronize it with the interface. Right click, just sync prototypes, Shift Control Alt P. Now if we go to the interface section, we see that is changed. And if we remove it, we can also Shift Control Alt P, and it's also changing the implementation section. Following with the previous slide, there are some integrated tools enhancements, like the Unix support for mobile platforms and the updated SVN libraries. In RAD Studio 10 Seattle, the VCL framework has been improved to support high DPI resolutions. So, in the IDE, you can easily enable high DPI for your VCL applications from Project Options window. You can also specify that your application will require administrator permissions. Just select the Enable Administrator Privileges checkbox. And it's also possible to use a custom manifest file. Stay connected from the IDE. In GetIt, now we have categories plus other visual enhancements to help navigating the catalog. GetIt keeps growing, and it's the perfect way for us to keep adding value to RAD Studio. More libraries, components, add-ons and tools will be soon available via GetIt, so stay tuned. And the best way to stay connected and up to date in the RAD Studio and Embarcadero world is using the community toolbar. Easy access to messages, events, and questions from the IDE. To conclude my section, this is a quote from one of our beta testers that summarizes our key focus for this release: quality, stability, and performance.
Okay, so there have been a few questions about the IDE. One was related to the auto-save, auto-recover feature. And just wanted to note that it's really an auto-recover feature. It's not meant to be a change management or history system. We have the history files and history list for that. The auto-recover is there in case the IDE dies, crashes. It could be because of bad component editor, property editor, IDE plugin. Could be, your machine dies for some reason, your hardware shuts down, Windows shuts down, whatever it might be. So you can choose your favorite interval time, whatever you feel comfortable with. Maybe you've got some hardware problem that keeps popping up or whatever. But use the history list, use your change management systems for all of the normal change management, auto-save, auto-recover. Just saves the files that you're currently working with in your project. And when you come back in the IDE, it'll give you a list of the auto-saved files and ask which of those you want to recover, and you can choose those. So again, it's not a change management system. Let's see. There was a few things related to the multi-monitor handling and high DPI and all of that. That's all handled in the IDE. So unless Microsoft loses track, Microsoft Windows somehow, of a display, you shouldn't have to worry about when you're in the IDE, or if your app, you can always, on your form in your application, see a screen size change, for example, and handle that event if you want to as well. Anything else to add, Jim or Al, in the world of the IDE?
No, I think that's a lot of great new features. It strikes me as interesting that we added the autosave feature and improved the stability of the IDE so much that it never crashes anymore in the same release. So yes, it autosaves, but you never need it to autosave because it doesn't crash anymore. But, well, like you said, sometimes it's other things outside the IDE that cause the crash.
Yeah.
There was a question here about using the search to find sub-properties, so like font.size, if you type size, finding size as well as font size. That's a good suggestion. I'll pass that along to Luis, who's in charge of who's the product manager for the IDE, and suggest that for you. So right now, if you want to find font size, you would search for font.
And when you see IDE features like auto-save, auto-recover, that's available regardless of the type of project you're using, whether it's a FireMonkey project, a VCL project, a C++ project, a Commit Console app project, or whatever. So that's available for you in all of the types of projects that you might have. And then also there was a we really don't have a differences in the XE8 and 10 as kind of a white paper. In the doc wiki, I put the link somewhere in there. Let's see, I have it again. Where is it here? Here's the doc wiki page. There's a what's new page. So the what's new page in the doc wiki really shows what's new in all the cases. So going down the compilers, FireMonkey, VCL, RTL, IDE, we used this what's new page as sort of an outline for a lot of the topics that we're doing in this deep dive. So that is that, and then on the community page there's an article about bugs that are fixed as well that we've closed out from previous releases of the product. So you can find all of that information along the way there. Just a reminder again of the special offers that we have. We have a new product called the RAD Solution Pack, which is a collection of VCL and FireMonkey tools and components. It includes the Schema T-chart, Fast Cube, Fast Report, wall-to-walls, grids for VCL and FireMonkey, Canoptus VCL controls, code site, radiant shapes, app analytics to move to the next level, a beacon fence, all of that is available. There's a VCL pack, a FireMonkey pack, and the combined of all of that. So you can find it on the RAD Solution Pack page. All of that is available for you as well. Let's see. When the year maintenance expires, how much does the renewal? It depends on what you're renewing. If you're renewing the RAD Studio or Delphi or C++ builder, I believe the renewal price is 30%. That's what I remember, but you can find that on the update subscription page.
Yeah, contact the salesperson or resellers, because if you talk to them, they're able to understand your situation and give you the best price, because we'll make a generalization and it may not be correct, but the salesperson can understand what's the best deal for you and figure out.
And you'll also get contacted. You will definitely get contacted as it gets, I think, either 30 or 60 days. There's some period of time where you'll get an email renewal call, an email and or call from our renewals team. So, but maybe spam folders, bounce back or whatever. The best way to know if your renewal is coming up is you go into the License Manager app, and the License Manager app, when you click on your key that you have, that's your update subscription product key, in the center pane of the License Manager, it'll tell you if you have update subscription number 1 and what your expiration date is. So.
Yeah, so very good questions on that section. So David, I like how you explained the difference between autosave and file recovery. Autosave's always been in there, so any modified files in the code editor, if you run, compile, build, or exit the product, those get autosaved. And I like how you'd explained file recovery. In case the laptop dies or your hard drive dies, when you recover, you get to see the files that are able to be recovered. So thanks for that great distinction between the two.
Again, there's all your history lists and change management that's built in, integration for Subversion. I think we had a skill sprint, Jim, recently talking about, I think it was Robert Love, also there's support for Mercurial and Git now in the integrations for and then there's some other third-party plugins for change management systems that use the same IDE plugin. So it's always good to save often, have autosave, recover, have history lists, and change management systems. And then the question about if you have update subscription, just want to make sure everybody understands, for RAD Studio, Delphi, and C++ Builder, you have a perpetual license for the product. So if you've got a certain version, you can use it until Windows doesn't support it anymore. So for example, if Microsoft moved to 64-bit Windows only and dropped 32-bit, then we'd have to get an updated IDE because we're still Win32, but large memory model, as Luis mentioned, up to 4 gigabytes with a Win32 app. But you can use the product even if update subscription runs out for a long, long time. You'll just have to renew at some point in time